Now for the third part of this problem, we're going to find all of the zeros. So in the last part, we found that 5 was one of the zeros. Okay, and now what we have, if 5 is a zero, we have a factor of x minus 5, right? Because plugging in the 5 there would give you a 0. And then we're going to use these three numbers here to make our trinomial of 3x squared plus 8x minus 35. Okay, and I guarantee if you multiply this back out, you're going to get what you started with right there. So this is a factor, and now what I need to do is I need to factor this thing right here. Okay, this is a 3-term polynomial. It does not start with a 1, and what I did here was the AC method. So if you are not familiar with how to factor a 3-term polynomial, you want to go find a video, one of my videos that says AC method, or you want to factor, it's going to say factor where the leading coefficient is not 1. So leading coefficient is not 1. All right, when this thing is factored, we're going to have x minus 5 times 3x minus 7 times x plus 5. Okay, and once again, if you multiply all three of these together, you will get that polynomial that you started with. Okay, I'm going to go on the side. I'm going to show you how I do this using the AC method. You can also use a method called trial and error, but I'll go ahead over here and do the AC method. All right, so in the AC method, I'm going to label this A, B, and C. Of course, I don't need to use the B, so I'm going to do A times C, and that's 3 times 35, and that's going to be 105. Now I list all of my possible factors of 105, so it could be 1 and 105. 105 divided by 3 is 35. 4 doesn't work. 105 divided by 5 is going to be 21. 105 divided by 6 doesn't work. 105 divided by 7 is 15. 105 divided by 8 doesn't work. 105 divided by 9, it's a decimal. 105 divided by 10, I know that's not going to work. And then once I go to 11, the number I get back is smaller than the number I'm dividing by. Okay, so this is it. These are all my possibilities. And I want to use one of these pairs, this one, this one, this one, or this one, to make an 8. Okay, and I have to subtract them to make an 8. All right, so which one subtracts to make an 8? 7 and 15. I'm going to need a negative 7x and a plus 15x. That will give me my 8x. So split up my middle term, negative 7x plus 15x. Drop down the first term, drop down the last term, and now I have factor by grouping. I need to get my Spider-Man colors, take out an x out of the first group, and I'll be left with 3x minus 7. Take out 15 out of the second group. No, not 15. 15 doesn't go into both. Take out a 5 out of the second group, and I'll be left with 3x minus 7. Okay, both groups have a 3x minus 7, and if I factor that out of both groups, I will be left with x plus 5. Alright, and that is what I had here. And somehow my minus went away. There it is, back. Alright, and now, remember these three, if I multiply them together, I get my original function, polynomial. I have to say, what would I plug in to get a 0? What would I plug in here to get a 0? Well, that's easy. That's a 5. What would I plug in here to get a 0? Well, that's a negative 5. What would I plug in here to get a 0 is not quite as obvious. So what I need to do is 3x minus 7, set it equal to 0. And then we'll solve. Add 7 to both sides. 3x equals 7. Divide both sides by 3. And x equals 7 over 3. Okay, and that hopefully is in our list. Let's check our list of possible rational zeros. And yep, there it is right here. 7 over 3. Okay, so that is all of our zeros. So when we want to give our answer, we're going to put them in a big box. And we're going to separate them by commas. 5, 7 over 3, and negative 5. Those are our actual zeros of this function right here.